Welcome to Current Chatter, the place where we dive into the latest news and happenings going on around the world. Join mother and son duo Kota and Losa as they engage in lively debates over current affairs and anything else that sparks a discussion. With diverse perspectives and a bit of fun, you never know what topics will come up next. Tune in every Friday afternoon for your weekly dose of Current Chatter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday afternoon. You know what that means? It's time for some Current Chatter with Kota and Losa. What a week, Dakota.
Yeah.
What a week.
Mom's got her hair all crazy. She looks a little frazzled. Tell me about your week, Mom. You look like...
Well, it wasn't the week. It was just the day today that we had.
Okay, what happened today?
So today was warehouse day at my work, which meant that anybody who'd been hired brand new in the last couple of weeks got to go and follow an order through the process.
So do they have you, like, complete an order, or, like, do they have you continually package? Like, what does a warehouse day at your work look like?
So what happens is you go up to customer service, it's where I work, and you create an order in the computer so that you know how the computer system we use. Then that order gets shipped down to receiving. So then we had to go down to receiving and learn about everything that has to do with receiving. Once we've received the ticket, then we had to go to pick a ticket. You know what I mean? We got to build some really cool things and we got to laser some really cool things. It was a lot of fun, but it was I'm exhausted.
Were you on your feet most of the day?
I was on my feet most of the day, and I felt so bad because after all said and done, my manager was that fun? And I was just so tired. All I could just do was just be like, My manager was like, that bad? And I'm like, I'm just tired. Like everybody else that got to do it, like came in at 10. That's when they started their shift, and they just worked a shift. Like I got there at 7:45 this morning, and then was there until all day on my feet until 4:00, and You're just tired.
Do you feel like you learned anything from this experience?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Do you think it's beneficial as like I bet you it helps build camaraderie too, as an office person, you know what the warehouse people go through. Do they have the warehouse people come in and shadow it all?
Yeah.
They do?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
So if you're a new hire and you're a new hire within the last 30 days, then you get offered to do this warehouse day. And everybody looks forward to it. Everybody loves it. Like I got to bring home 2 really great boxes of stuff that I made, and Dad appreciated that. So
do you think that, because this is the first time I'm ever hearing about this, do you think, like, you've worked other jobs where you had you fulfilled warehouses, right? Or is this your first time? Do you feel like you have more appreciation for the whole picture versus just appreciation for your part of things? Like, how do you feel?
It really gives you an appreciation for in order for a warehouse to be successful, every T has to be crossed and every I has to be dotted.
Absolutely, yeah.
But that does not mean that you are the one to dot that T or that I. You're in the process of creating it.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, exactly. You're one pen in the stroke that makes that. You're one part of the ink that makes that I or dots that T.
I thought that customer service was,
worst.
Yeah, no, not the worst, because I love what I do.
But customer service sucks because you get angry people, and I am the worst at customer service. I suck at it so fucking much. I can't fucking talk to people.
See, that's I love it. It's fun for me, and if you call mad, then it's my goal to let you leave our interaction with a smile on your face.
That's a fantastic way to look at it. And see, I just I internally think about someone calling mad and talking to my mama in an upset voice, and nobody's going to do that. You know? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know you've gone through it since I've been alive. Obviously you have, but if you had told me today that some motherfucker had called you and cussed you out, I would be trying to find some VPNs, some addresses. I just couldn't imagine someone talking down to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that your office does that. That gives me ideas for my place of work, because they're always.
It was enlightening because, like I said, every T has to be crossed in warehousing. Otherwise, your warehouse is ineffective. And if your warehouse isn't effective, then you're losing money somewhere. And it's typically not like a little trickle, it's a hemorrhage of money. And you need to get that fixed before it happens again, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I recently finally told my HR lady about the podcast. She's getting ready to go to Amsterdam for a skydiving competition.
Wow. Oh,
And
I know. You've spoken about this person to me before.
yeah, but well, the first time I ever heard about skydiving competitions, I was like, so is it just who can fall the fastest? Like I had no idea there. Like it makes sense now after like speaking with her about it of how competitive skydiving can be. But like in my head,
Really?
yeah, I never once thought about it. I only thought about the fear of just jumping out of the plane. Am I going to do it? Yes. She's talked about and hinted about like doing like a team building exercise where we go and do it. And I did like we would have to pay for it as employees. It's not like a company sanctioned thing. But as like a team building exercise to go and do that. And the only thing I can think of is the fear that I'm going to go through. Like I will 100% do it. Will I have depends on while I do it? Absolutely. I'm not shitting or pissing on some kind of on whoever strapped to me, because you have to, as a first time jumper, you have to jump with someone else,
right? Tandem jump.
Yeah. And I'd have to wear something to cover up and wear my brown pants.
I bet you're not the only person who's asked for that.
Oh, 100%. I know I'm not alone. I'm not that cool. I'm not that unique.
Oh, it's too awesome. All right. How's your week been? Mine's been exhausting. How about yours?
I've had like a very fast-paced week, but it has been really, really good at work. Like work is like I am so happy with my job and where I'm at and my boss, and I'm just very happy. The back of my head has a little bit of stress because I'm wondering if like I'm getting
the other shoe's gonna drop.
That, and if I'm getting too comfortable and shit is just gonna pass me by. I'm gonna stay in this position for 15 years, and then what else could I have done or applied for? Does that make sense? Like I'm worried about staying stagnant, but I also like I don't know what could get me to leave my current position. It would have to be me doing something incredibly stupid and get fired, because I just don't see myself leaving. Like I absolutely love what I do.
It's okay to be happy and content.
Yeah.
It's not okay to like be, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it's not okay to just be stagnant
and Pop's always told me never get too comfortable at where you're at. Always try to achieve for the next step. Right. And I guess I'm worried that I'm too comfortable at where I'm at, but I'm also like I am trying to implement so many changes that I feel like it would be a disservice for me to jump ship in the middle of all of these changes.
Mm-hmm. I did read something that you need to just keep in mind, just as your mother, and a mother who's been laid off twice, 3 times, that nobody's not replaceable.
100%. I'm definitely replaceable. I am for sure replaceable.
It might take 5 or 6 people, but everybody's replaceable.
So replaceable. What I mean is that we have this really, really great leadership team who's all about change. And it's not only like just to change everything that's happening, going on everywhere. It's the change that will help us progress. It's change that will help us grow, those kind of things. And it makes me, as an employee, so excited to see everything that's going to happen, because I can see the bigger picture. I've had parts of the leadership talk to me about things that they've got going on, and I can just see the bigger picture, and I'm so excited about
getting there.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to see it get there. Yeah. And part of what I'm doing now helps us get there, so I don't want to take that enthusiasm and just leave. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the job I do now. Most people are like, why? Because I've done like harder stuff. I've done easier stuff, but it goes a long way to be appreciated.
Yeah.
You have a day like today where it's a lot of work, but I was appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, if they do this for new hires, how do they treat people who've been here for a couple of years or 3 or 4 years? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it can only get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too is it's not that I don't not feel appreciated, but my love language is words of affirmation. So I need to hear all the time that I'm doing good. I know I'm doing good. I see the changes happening.
I like to hear the words. Yeah.
Yeah. That is definitely my love language. Is like that's how I feel the most love, is just the words of affirmation. And it's not even just like petting my ego. It's letting me know you love me, or like you're going to this spot at this time, or hey, I arrived here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I just like
Right.
could that communicate? I hate being out of the loop. I hate it so much. Being out of the loop stresses me out. Or when plans change and everybody else knew about the plans changing, but I didn't.
But isn't it always, you didn't hear me when I told you that the plans had changed?
Like, yeah, about 88% of the time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Knowing me as I've grown up, does that, like, hearing that that is my love language, does that ring true to you? Can you see how that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Justin's love language is items. Like wants to be like his was a little bit more easy to understand just because it was always, bless his heart, monetary.
Yeah.
Like
So the love languages are quality time, acts of service. There's 5 of them. Acts of service, words of affirmation, gift giving, and then I always forget the last one. And then when we get off of here, it's gonna come to me. I'm gonna be like, but that's cool that you kind of remember that would make sense for me. I've always liked being told I'm doing good at something.
yeah. Who doesn't? But that if it's one of your love languages, it's even more important, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just kind words. Words hurt.
People are mean.
Right? Speaking of hurt, everything that's going on in California, and now it has trickled into Colorado.
Yes. And Utah.
Oh, I didn't see anything in Utah happening. Are people shitting on cars? They did that during COVID. They shit on cars. No, it wasn't COVID. It was during the George Floyd riots.
Yes. Nothing like that yet.
Okay, nothing like that yet.
Right. But you never know about what's going to happen. Every day is a little bit different. I just am curious what your thoughts are on the whole thing.
See, and I wanted to ask you where you're getting your information from. Are you trying to off branch into different news sites, or are you sticking to one news site and getting this information?
I'll admit to you that I went to CNN today because I'm like, I'm just going to go to the most dominant news source on that side.
Mm-hmm.
And after 5 minutes, I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not wasting my time with this. Let's go back to, like some of the news sites that I do, AP News or Fox News or.
Yeah. See, and when I first saw it, it was all on TikTok. So TikTok's going to show you the most like extreme of the extreme. You're not getting the full backstory. The first thing I saw was people in California hurling rocks off of a interpass or an oversection and destroying cop cars. And I was like, holy fuck, and doing a little more research into everything. I kind of feel like things are getting blown out of proportion. I think a lot of sites are just focusing on the negative and not the actual reasons for this protest or why a lot of people are protesting. So I think that they're more baiting us into thinking that it's these big violent things that are happening, and I don't truly feel that's what's happening. I don't feel like the police are.
You don't think the riots are happening?
No, I 100% feel like the riots are happening, but I don't think they're as violent as what we're seeing on television.
Oh, see, I think they're worse.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
I just think that sometimes they kind of dumb down the news for people to say, it's mostly peaceful. No. If it goes from your given right as a U.S. citizen to protest peacefully, and it turns into a riot, once it crosses that line into riot, it's bad in my view. And riots, people should not be rioting.
I think people have a right to feel the way they feel. What I was really trying to say is maybe it's just certain parts of California that have these riots, and they're only showing those certain parts. They're not showing the other protests in different parts of California.
The only riots I've seen are in LA.
Yeah, and I'm talking more protests than the riots. What started the riots was these protests that they're trying to do, and now all we're seeing are these crazy riots, and it could be in one central spot in California that they're doing these riots, but everywhere else in California, they're trying to be more peaceful about it. Do you see what I'm saying? I want the bigger picture versus just this one central area.
Well, they're also doing not riots, but they're doing protests in every major city now. Tomorrow will be a week that the riots have been going on in LA. And I think that people need to start talking to each other instead of being like, I'm going to riot, I'm going to loot, I'm going to, just do stupid stuff.
See, I don't really adhere to the looting. I think that's compounding the issue. People that are looting are taking money out of other people's pockets. And I totally can understand why it seems so easy. After you smash this window, you can just go grab all this merchandise. We don't know that store struggle that they have. Like, I'm thinking mom and pop shop,
And that's what one of the things is. One of the mom and pop sushi restaurants in LA was like, you tore my sushi restaurant apart during your looting, that first night of looting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it Saturday or Sunday night? Well,
And
that's the main issue.
I
That's
think
how it started.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody knows that they started looking into people via their tax returns. So people that are already like legally paying taxes to America, that's where they're going off of their information, is how to find these people, or the people they're taking off of the street.
I've never heard of that before.
I read it in 2 different sites. I read it on AP and one other one. What was it? Was it like, I think it's like Fever or something? I can't remember. I'll find it and send it to you. I'll send the articles to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's people that are already like trying to do this legally, and they're getting swept up.
Well, here's my struggle,
Okay.
is that my people get mad. People are mad, and people are getting angry over the immigration issue and saying, they have the right. And what right? Why? Why do they have the right to live here? Because they crossed the border illegally. So their first thing that they ever did to become a U.S. citizen was to illegally cross over the border. That should be a detriment, not a pat on the back. Let's give you citizenship and the right to vote for whoever you want to.
See, and I'm more worried about the people that like, they're still crossing the border, but they're not doing everything legally to become a citizen.
Right. And that's the people that they're actually going after.
No, because people that aren't doing it right are not filing their taxes. They're not trying to become a U.S. citizen. People that aren't doing it right are trying to just suck money out of the system by whether it's getting on welfare or selling drugs or
Do you
selling
think that
merchandise.
just because they paid American taxes, they have the right to be here in the United States?
I feel like they have the right to speak for themselves and try to understand why they paid taxes.
Well, everybody has the right to speak for themselves.
Yeah, but I'm saying those people that aren't doing all of that don't have that right. Am I not making any sense?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so I'm not making any sense?
I don't think you are. So even if, let's say, and this is a point that the right is trying to come to, is that you have an immigrant from Guatemala, let's say, that came over 30 years ago, has only ever been a hardworking person, and you think,
Are they getting paid legally? Are they getting
yes.
paid checks, or are they getting paid under the table? Because there's a
No,
difference
let's say that they're making legal money.
So they're already paying taxes legally to a state that they're in, or a country that
Right.
they're in. They're doing that all legally. I'm saying the people that are not, the people that come in and do it under the table.
That's who needs to be picked up. No, I agree with that.
But if you're like legally getting paid, you've done everything that you can do, whether you have a visa or not, or have come over illegally. If you're paying taxes to a country, you're contributing to that country. You are contributing to that country's roads, where they spend their money on the military, where they spend their money on science, all of those things. You are a contributing member of that country.
So they have a right to just be citizens?
Yeah. Well, if they do that legally, and this is coming from a guy who, like, I've told you on the podcast before, I did the national colors for people who went through all the legal and were getting their nationalization into the U.S. They became U.S. citizens. Those are those kind of people I'm talking about. And I feel like some of those people who have become national citizens are also the ones getting picked up in this, because they just legally weren't born here. but they legally did all of the
But
correct
that would
things.
mean that like I could get picked up, or um, your aunts could get picked up because
Yeah,
your oldest Aunt Kathy was born in Fiji and Aunt Teresa was born in Samoa.
and with the bill that he's trying to pass, that can definitely happen. I could even get picked up because Grandpa isn't a U.S. citizen; he has dual citizenship. But I legally pay my taxes. I was born here.
Yeah, Dakota, that's not true. I'm sorry.
Where like, you're just totally shutting me down. Where are you coming up with that
They are not
defined
going
knowledge?
after people who have legal rights to be here. You have every legal right because you were born an American citizen. I was born an American citizen.
But aunties, even though they were born out of the citizenship, they're still U.S. citizens, correct? They've done
Correct.
everything, so they shouldn't get picked up. And that's what I'm saying, is that we shouldn't be getting picked up if we've done everything correct.
Right. If you've done everything correctly, but that means that you did not come into the country legally. That would mean that you would have to have come into the country legally.
Well, what's the difference between aunties coming into the country as babies and the people that are coming across and then becoming legal? Like, one was brought here by parents that are U.S. citizens. One came here because they didn't have any other options, and whatever country they were in, you know what I mean? What is
Yeah.
Where does that difference come?
I think that there's a huge difference there. I'm not sure I know where it comes from or not, but I know that the distinction of illegal versus a legal immigrant are very black and white, you know?
What is the black and white?
So if you come to this country legally, do everything legally, then you legally have the right to be an American citizen. If you come to this country illegally, I don't care what you do after that, you're still an illegal individual.
Would you say that to, and this is just theoretical, would you say that to anyone, let's say, we'll bring the Handmaid's Tale into it. If you were in Canada and living your best life, would you say the same thing that someone's trying to escape what's happening in Gilead or whatever they called it? Would you say that same exact thing?
I don't know,
Because
that's
we don't know if what that person's going through when they're coming over illegally, when they're coming over, what that person has gone through to get here. We don't
Right.
know you know what I mean?
But the difference in the Handmaid's Tale and today's society is they went into Canada and requested asylum.
So what's
asylum
stopping
is
someone
different.
just to coming over and requesting asylum?
They can do that. None of them have.
By none of the, and like, you're just speaking the whole population of people.
Well, I'm sure some of them have, but they're not going after the people who've are claiming asylum. They're not going after those people.
Do you know that for a fact? What about that college student that was taking I can't remember what state she was in, but she was an Indian who came from Asia to come do college classes. She had a visa, she had her passport, and all of those things, and she still got deported. She still got taken out. What is the right in that? She had all of her documents, all of her paperwork, everything going on. I'll send you the link to the, if you don't know who I'm talking about, but
I don't know.
She got pulled. She was going to class and she got pulled from walking to class by ICE. How is that fair?
I don't know that specific story, so I can't speak on it.
I
from
don't.
From the news information that I've gotten, it's that ICE is not just stopping people on the street and throwing them in a van and you'll never see them again.
Okay. That's fair. I would encourage you to look in other places, and when I'm saying that, I am also encouraging myself to look into other news articles too, so we can have a better conversation. Yeah, exactly. And it just comes from, I have my thoughts on it and you have your thoughts on it, and we're just on two different playing fields, and that's totally fine.
You know, you ask like if it like what I would say to somebody if someone came up and you know they're like, I know somebody who's here illegally, I'm thinking of turning them in, what would I do?
I never asked that, but what would you do?
That's a tough question. That's why I was wondering. Let's rewind. Let's not ask that question.
Whoa, no. I want to know the answer to that question.
That's a tough one.
What if it was one of your neighbors who had been living next to you for years?
That's tough. I like my neighbors.
Exactly.
Well, not all of them.
That's besides the point. I'll cut that out.
You don't have to cut it out. The neighbors I hate, they know I hate them.
Okay, that's fair. But if the neighbors never cause you any problems, they've just gone to work, they've take care of their yard, maybe they pull in your trash cans when they're too far out. I have some neighbors who do that because our trash guys that take them out, they don't extend the arm back into my driveway. They kind of just plop it in the road, and then people can't drive. So I've had neighbors like just pull in my trash cans.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to turn them in. They've never done me any harm.
I wouldn't. If it came right down to it, I probably wouldn't turn anybody in either. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's tough to have. It's a tough game to play when you have to play, be politically correct.
Did you see that reporter that got shot with the rubber bullet? Did you see that one?
I didn't.
So
this reporter got shot.
Yes, she was an Australian reporter just reporting on the riots going on. I believe she was in Los Angeles when those riots were happening. But from what I saw, it looked like she was just reporting on what was happening. She was definitely at the front line, so she was right at that hazard. And, you may get hit with tear gas, you may get hit with a rubber bullet. And an officer looked at her for half a second, enough time for me to go, he's got her in his sights. And she's obviously not, part of the riot or part of the protesting, but he looks her dead on and shoots her with a rubber bullet.
Ouch.
Just fucking whacks her. From what I saw, he looked at this person who had her back to him and shot her with a bullet. And that did not seem right to me.
No, I agree with that.
And I'll send you the video, watch it. Yeah. Watch it when you can. I think the violence is heightened and we're not seeing the actual protest and what's going on. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I don't think we are being... I know that they're like, well, nobody's died yet. And I'm like, well, that people shouldn't just be dying.
They said that the same thing on January 6th when that crazy shit happened at the Capitol. They said, well, no one's dying yet. And then someone did die. And I hope that nobody loses their lives over this. And I'm saying both sides, the police side and everybody protesting. I feel like as human beings, we have the right to protest, not just as American citizens. If I'm being wrong, I'm going to let you fucking know that I'm being wrong.
No, Kota, they don't allow that in some countries. They don't allow any kind of that in some countries.
I'm not talking about some country. I'm just talking in my perfect world.
Okay.
We would be able to do that.
So I was looking at articles and came across something that will just kind of blow your mind. Are you ready?
Hell yeah, hit me with it.
So a woman is driving home from work one day and falls asleep behind the wheel, and her car crashes into a ditch where it has no road visibility.
Okay.
And so she laid in her car for 6 days before they found her.
How do they find her?
They were doing maintenance on the
maintenance crew found her?
Uh-huh.
Did she have a broken pelvis, broken bone? Why couldn't she?
Yeah, several broken bones. Her legs were pinned in the accident.
That's fucking terrifying.
She said that she had to drink from the ditch just to stay alive, and she didn't have any food. And so she was in the hospital for, I think, between 60 and 75 days after they found her. But could you imagine being trapped somewhere for 6 days?
Do you have the wherewithal to try and survive? Or would you just be like, this is it, I'm done?
That would be it. She said that when the accident happened, because she fell asleep, she said it, of course, woke me up. And when I realized I was stuck, all I could think of was just to sleep. And that when I woke up, I wouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, that's at least what you hope for.
Right. And she says, and when I woke up and I was still there, I didn't know what to do except just to survive.
See, and these exact reasons are why I don't ever clean out my car. I have so much random shit in my car. I could live in there at least for a week.
Well, 6 days. 6 days.
The only thing I don't have is beer. And that's just because you shouldn't roll around with just beer in your car. That's me. The only thing I would be missing is my beer.
I'm sure if you were actually in the accident, you would be missing a lot more than just your beer.
I would think, fuck, I could use a beer right now.
The thing is that nobody reported her missing.
None of her family or anything?
No, it never said anything about any of her family.
How fucked up is that?
Nobody reported her missing and then this maintenance crew found her.
Fuck.
Can you believe that?
Does her family live in different parts of the world?
It didn't say anything about her family.
No? Well, how many days do you think it would take you to report me missing?
1. If you don't answer my texts within an hour, I ask Dad if I can call you.
But no, in all seriousness, that's just you joking as mom. In all seriousness, like with my Facebook activity and my Snapchat activity and just us talking every other day or daily, when would you finally be like, I think something's wrong with Coda? Because I actually don't remember the last time I text Dad, but I know Dad's good, and Dad knows I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I no, honestly, after if like I didn't hear from you, if, like you, this goes for you or Justin. If I didn't hear from you, if like I texted you and didn't hear from you for 24 hours,
That would be it.
that would be it.
That's wild, though. I can't imagine not noticing someone's missing. You know what I mean?
What about your coworkers?
I would
Like,
notice my coworkers because I feel like because I've worked there long enough, I know my coworkers have like the out of office thing, or someone else knows where they're at. If none of us knew where someone was at, then it would be a different story.
right? And it wouldn't be very long,
No,
right? It would be like with like after a couple of days, people are going to start to talk. Like Sally hasn't showed up for work for 3 days, and nobody knows where Sally is.
yeah, and we haven't heard nothing. HR doesn't know anything. Yeah, no.
No, that's like I feel bad that nobody reported her missing.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I wonder how she's dealing with that emotionally. It's going to take some therapy.
Yeah, a lot of therapy.
For sure. For sure.
Especially,
Hopefully she
like,
drinks her water and talks to her therapist about that whole oh dear. And is so appreciative of clean water. Like, that's really fucked up of me to say. I shouldn't say
right?
that kind of shit.
Totally understandable though.
Right? That's wild.
What do you got for us tonight?
So, how willing are you to take care of wrinkles or aging blemishes?
So I'm a lot more on top of my skincare than I was 20 years ago.
Okay, I'm not asking how on top of how willing are you to take away some of those aging wrinkles, those aging spots?
If I wanted them to be removed, you mean like surgically?
No, not surgically. If you had something that you could take daily to prevent it, or even reverse it, can you think of anything you aren't willing to do?
No, I would do that.
All right.
Because I'm a lot more upset about the way I look physically now than I did 20 years ago.
Okay. Let me just read this article, and then you well, let's get back to that question, okay?
Okay.
British doctors are prescribing poo pills with freeze-dried feces for very exciting new treatment.
Very exciting. Anytime someone comes up to me and is like, I got a very exciting idea for you, I'm like, no, you don't. I'd be like, move along. Like, that's why I put a no soliciting sign on the door.
So this article goes on to say, when we dreamt of a magic pill that could cure anything, we weren't thinking of poo pills, also known as crapsicles. But these crapsicles, packed with freeze-dried fecal matter, have recently shown promise in treating everything from advanced cancer to deadly liver disease.
No, I'm sorry. Like, if someone said, here's this, like, I've had cancer, it almost killed me. But if they said, here's a pill you can take, you can either go through 6 weeks more of chemo or you can take this pill. Unfortunately, it's shit. I would say, like, give me 6 more weeks of chemo.
It's freeze-dried.
I don't care. I don't care how dry they make it. It's still shit.
Okay. Some even say fecal transplants in which poop of a healthy person is transferred into someone else could be the key to crushing it at the gym and reversing some aging signs.
Nope.
Now, UK researchers are testing whether capsules containing freeze-dried stool from healthy donors can uproot antibiotic-resistant bacteria hiding in patients' guts.
I don't know if you've ever tried to sign up for a study. Have you ever tried to?
No.
Okay, I have, and so is your dad. They ask all of these questions, and you have to answer like pages and pages worth of data to make sure that you're either going to take the actual pill or be given the placebo. And even then, it's usually their blind studies, so you don't know who actually gets chosen. But you're told sometimes at the end, like, what it was all for and about. Wouldn't that suck if you're like, you are so lucky, like those lines on your face that are smoothed out, that's because you took pills with shit in them. I hope you enjoy your new face. Have a good day. Your research check is in the mail. Yeah, I would sue them so fast. And I don't sue easy. Like, I would sue them so fast.
You'd be done.
Yeah, because they're blind studies like that.
They go on to talk about the blind study that they did.
Oh, no, no, no.
Do you want me to keep reading or are you
Oh,
done?
could you imagine those poor people? Don't you feel bad for them?
No, they signed up for it.
Oh. They signed up to get $1,200.
They may have not read the fine print.
$1,200 in tax-free money if they took a pill. They wouldn't tell you, like, no way, Jose.
You don't want me to keep reading? You're done?
Let's talk about Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah. So, Mom's... I'm sorry. I can't get over this shit. I'm having a hard time with this shit. Poop's just funny. But Mom sent me this video of like, it was like a spoof of two Bigfoots. I can't even remember the first video that you sent me because I've watched so many of them.
Me too. I showed one to Dad today about the Yetis wanting to join the Mile High Club.
Oh, shit.
Another one I saw was one where he drank energy drink and he's like, I smell color.
But it's just like, it's like definitely an AI generated Bigfoot. And
do you think, Dakota, there any reason that could not be AI generated?
Damn it. It's not, what I was trying to say was it's not like an animated, someone drew it up. It's definitely AI.
No,
You're an asshole.
Sorry. Oh my gosh, I have a funny story to tell you really quick about being such a jerk.
Okay, hit me with it.
I was on the boat yesterday and cut my finger open.
Okay.
And
how'd you do that?
I just hit it against something on the boat. I don't even know. But I was convinced I needed stitches. And I was like screaming and your dad's like, calm down. And I'm like, is it even there? And he's like, you did not cut your finger off.
You thought you lost a digit?
Oh man, it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. And your dad's like, calm down. The fishes aren't eating it. Knock it off.
Well, Dad and I have been ice fishing and he fell on top of our auger and we'd moved spots from one spot to another and we didn't think to put the cover back on. And this is exactly why I'm such a fucking crazy person about putting my cover back on my auger. This exact story. And so we'd moved spots, didn't put the cover back on, and Dad happened to fall right on top of it and just about fucking took off his finger.
Yes.
And I think he wrapped it up in a sock and duct tape.
Yep, sock and duct tape, put it inside the glove.
And just forgot about it all day. And this was
fishing.
Yeah, we'd been fishing for 14 hours.
Yeah.
And he ended up showing you, and what was the first thing you did?
Well, the thing was, he stopped and got dinner and then came home and we're all eating dinner together in the apartment. And he's like, oh, by the way, I cut my fingers. And I'm like, shouldn't you have led with that? Maybe. No, I need you to check something for me. No, nothing. No, he comes home. We're eating dinner. Halfway through dinner, he's like, cut my fingers open. It's not a big deal.
When you first saw it, what did you think?
I thought he'd lost his mind.
It was a deep cut.
3 fingers, across 3 fingers. Yeah.
Yep. And his ring finger had it the worst, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it got the D, and it was like fat was hanging out, and bone. You could see some bone. It was a gnarly cut.
Bad. And it was the thing. If you ask your dad to tell that story, is it was either fall on you or fall on the auger.
Yeah.
And he chose to fall on the auger.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that part. Yeah, it was because I was right behind him, just like toting along. My dad always carried the sled, and I miss that now as an adult carrying my own sled. I'm like, fuck, where's my dad?
That's too awesome.
God, that shit's fucking heavy, and he never complained about it. He never huffed or puffed. He was, we're just going fishing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to go fall, and because I was right behind him, he had 2 options. And he was a bigger boy at that point. Dad was pushing 300.
Yeah.
And I was, what, maybe 7 or 8?
Yeah.
I was baby.
No, you were littler than that. You were probably, I would say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You were little.
So he would have took me out pretty good. So he fell right on the auger.
Took one for the team.
He did. Yeah, I'll always remember him for that. Just that story, nothing else.
But yeah, I thought I'd lost it. And I was like, I'm gonna need stitches, and I was holding my hand, and blood's like squirting everywhere. And your dad's
It is not squirting.
Dad's like, you do not even need stitches. And I'm like, oh. And he's already got it to stop bleeding. And I'm like, thank you.
Did you outfish him this time?
No.
No.
Are you kidding? Oh, like I didn't feel too good yesterday, so I curled up on the side of the boat and just took a nap. And he woke me up every couple minutes. I got another one. I'm like, okay, you win. You win today.
What were you guys fishing for?
Bass. Smallmouth bass.
Yeah. I gotta get him out.
He caught the biggest smallmouth he's ever caught. So
I have to get him out here and do some bass fishing. Like he's like, you don't know any good spots. You don't know where to go or anything. And just come fishing with me. You'll have a good fucking time.
Right?
I just need to get him out here fishing.
That's what everybody tells him. Friends, family, everybody tells him, if I could just get your husband to come out and go fishing, I'd know he'd love it out here.
Mm-hmm. I could get him to move out here with fishing. Once you hook onto a bass, a largemouth bass, and you feel that fight, there's nothing like it.
He said the same thing about smallmouth bass yesterday. He's like, the fight is just incredible.
No, wait till they got a bigger mouth and more attitude. Smallmouth bass ain't shit.
You're gonna have to tell him. I'll have to tell him to listen to this one.
All right, for sure. Is there anything else you wanted to go over, Mom?
No, I'm exhausted. I need a nap. And some weed.
At least you're honest.
Yep. Probably I'll just go with the weed and then I'll go to bed here soon.
You gotta eat something.
I have eaten.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I think we're gonna close it out here. Please, always remember to drink your water and fucking talk to your therapist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Until next time.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hell yeah, I suck toes.
Why?